So, the New York Giants really don't have as many needs as they had a few years back. Um, this Giants team has really been one of the more improved teams lately. I think they're flying a little bit under the radar. No one's really talking about them, and I think they have more talent than some may think. Um, this team's got some really solid receivers. They have a quarterback that's growing still. They have a very solid running back coming back if he could stay healthy. And then the defense is probably going to be an elite defense next season, if not very close to it. You know, this this these guys really signed some big time guys and really upgraded this roster. And the most notable guy is Kenny Galladay on a 4-year, $72 million deal. This was one of the better, really solid signings because you give Daniel Jones a weapon, you give Slayton a partner in crime. You have other receivers in John Ross. They definitely have a lot of potential at the wide receiver group and some weapons for Daniel Jones to work with. They could use John Ross maybe on end arounds or maybe even Ingram or Slayton. They're all fast guys. Kenny Galladay is a solid run blocker. Ingram's a solid run blocker. One place where they're a little on the weak side is the inside offensive line. Andrew Thomas, the newly drafted guy from last year, and then they have. Other than that, this offensive line is a little on the weak side, but yeah, they could definitely maybe go for an offensive lineman in the first round. I could say maybe Rashawn Slater, maybe Elijah Vera Tucker. It's maybe a little early for Elijah Vera Tucker, but I mean it's a guy they could take. He's very versatile. Left guard that Lemieux, I don't really know how to say his name, but he is bad. Nate Solder, not the greatest of options going to next year, coming off of a year off. But then you have the tight ends who's a very solid group. You have Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph. I think they'll be looking to upgrade over those two. They're both solid guys, both solid tight ends, but they both can be inconsistent at times. And I think Kyle Pitts would be an awesome pickup for them as well in the draft. So look out for Kyle Pitts maybe going to them, but I don't really think Kyle Pitts will fall this far. But Pitts would be a really solid option because Pitts can also be a wide receiver. He would be a very solid wide receiver and tight end. He's just that crazy mismatch that can also really boost Daniel Jones, who has taken a decent jump last year. Not a crazy jump, but he showed improvement, and we'll have to see where he continues to go, where he continues to improve. This is really his prove it year, in my opinion. And then you go on the defensive side of the ball. They signed cornerback Adoree Jackson. I'm not crazy about how much money they paid him. Not crazy about the length of it. I would have put him on a 1-year prove it deal because he's very inconsistent and he is hurt a lot. He's had a lot of problems in the past. I'm just not very high on Adoree Jackson right now. But if he goes out and proves me wrong, hey, I'll be happy to see him go out there and prove me wrong. And then you have James Bradbury, a very solid corner, one of the more solid corners last year. So I think they're kind of set on quarterback maybe. And then they have Xavier McKinney who can play in the slot. They have Logan Ryan who can maybe play in the slot once in a while. Um, I think their best bet is moving Logan Ryan down to the slot and playing McKinney at safety. And then they have Jabril Peppers, a strong safety. So and then the defensive line is pretty solid. They have Obenigbu. I don't know how to say his name, but that's how I try to. And then you have Leonard Williams. He's a very solid guy. Dexter Lawrence. He's a solid defensive tackle. Danny Shelton, I think, is a weak spot. Lorenzo Carter is a young and upcoming player. So this front four is pretty decent. I think they can use an edge rusher. I think they can use an extra edge rusher or the left end mainly. Replace Shelton, get a big guy in there. Maybe get Jalen Phillips. Maybe get Kwity Paye. I think this is literally for pay, but maybe you could go with Phillips. Phillips is probably the best pass rusher in this draft. He knows how to use his hands, and as a pass rusher in this league, if you know how to use your hands, that's one of the most important traits to becoming a better pass rusher in this league, or even a solid pass rusher. You need to know how to use your hands and get past guys. If you can't do that, usually ends and defensive tackles and all that, usually they don't go very far in the NFL. So I think Jalen Phillips has the highest upside of the edges of the edge in this draft of all the pass rushers, and then you have the linebackers, what I think is a little bit of a weak spot in today's NFL. Maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, Blake Martinez would be a top linebacker in the league. And then you have Reggie Ragland, a few guys in there, a few guys you could throw in there who are decent guys. James, there's that Crowder. I don't think it's Jamison. No, it's Tay Crowder, I believe, and he is okay. I'm not crazy on him. I think they could maybe go on a guy after like Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons has amazing blitz ability. He's a good coverage linebacker. Like Martinez is a tackle machine, but he's not the best in coverage. And then you have Tay Crowder, who's not really all that, in my opinion. I think you could draft a guy like either Micah Parsons or Jeremiah Owusu Karamoa. Always struggle saying this name, but yeah, I think this Giants team is really looking up, and depending on the draft, I can really see them being a contender in the NFC East. I think it's between them and Washington. I think Dallas is also a very solid team, but they don't really have much of a defense. But they are getting guys back next year, so it could be Dallas, Washington, and New York in the mix for number one. I don't think the Eagles are really going to be involved there. The Eagles have a lot of holes, so I guess we want to see where they go and how they address their needs in the draft. Um, you know, so I guess we will see how this all pans out. Guess we will see if the Giants sign anyone else in the offseason. And yeah, that's my thought. I'm gonna go with my final answer and who I think the Giants should draft. I think they should draft Jeremiah Owusu Karamoa. He's probably the best coverage linebacker in the NFL in the draft coming out. One of the better pass coverage linebackers coming out of the draft that we've seen in a long time. And Blake Martinez has that solid blitzing ability. So I would honestly take Owusu Karamoa over Micah Parsons here because Micah Parsons also has those outfield issues, and that's always a red flag. I always back off of players when that happens, but nonetheless, Micah Parsons does have amazing talent. Um, and then Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah never really had problems off the field. An extremely solid pass coverage linebacker. I think, and then you have Blake Martinez on the other side. I think it's a solid linebacker group. So yeah, that's mainly my thoughts on the New York Giants, and I think they should draft Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And yeah, that's my honest opinion on the Giants, on the New York Football Giants. Let me know what you Giants fans think. Let me know what you guys think. And I thank you for watching. And that's it for this video. Peace out. I'll talk to you later.